High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. It's wet here today and we're expecting those downpours to continue. This will make for a difficult sprint for all the teams. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Piastri, Joshua Pearce, and Tsunoda, Antonelli, Hamilton, Hayes, and Alex Albon, Russell, Ocon, Lance Stroll, and Lawson, Hülkenberg, Hadjar, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, Behrman, and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, radio check, radio check. Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Okay, incredible parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Radio check, please. Radio check. Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us. Here are the top 5 cars as things stand. Okay, so the current fastest lap, 1:45.7. Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen and Albon.
Welcome to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike. And us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Alex Albon, and Piastri. Pearce, Russell, Antonelli, and Yuki Tsunoda. Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Carlos Sainz, and Lawson. Stroll, Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly, and Ollie Behrman. Doohan, Hadjar, Bortoletto, and Sonny Hayes rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday, but in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Okay, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check. Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch. Okay, we think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful. Okay, Antonelli behind. The car behind has some damage to its front wing, but pace is currently unaffected. Okay, the underbody's taken some damage. You might start to notice it soon. Sat in P8, well done. Our gap to first place, 7.8 seconds. That's Russell just ahead, push for the position. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 2.4 seconds. They're on a fresh set of inters. Antonelli's behind you, less than a second separates you. They're on a fresh set of inters. Okay, your pit window opens in 9 laps time. Okay, I think we're still in the right tyres for the time being. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 7.9 seconds. Weather's changing now, we're going to have to change strategy, so it's time to box. Understood, copy that. Looks like it's probably about time we change tyres. It's a bit of a crossover period for sure, but the longer we stay, the worse it's going to get. Don't forget, box this lap. Sonny is in the pits. Sonny in the pits now. Right, let's go, come on! That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. You only have to stop once now, one stop left. This is our true position. They've pitted as well, so warm up your tyres and get down the road. P12, you got P12. Okay, so gap to the leader, 42.8 seconds. Ocon is ahead of you. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 5.2 seconds. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Okay, Sonoda's behind you. Okay, they're on fresh hards. And that's 6 laps until your pit window's open. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Okay, gap to the car ahead, 2.6 seconds. Ocon ahead, and the time last lap, 2 minutes, 07.4. Okay, gap to the car in front, 2.6 seconds. Okay, they're on fresh hards, their tyres are just 1 lap old. We think they've got 1 more stop. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 14.8 seconds. job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. It's open, pit window currently open. Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive. There's serious damage to the underbody. Repeat, serious damage to the underbody. P6, you got P6. Okay, gap to leader, 18.1 seconds. Piastri ahead. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on old mediums. Russell behind. They're on old mediums. Your pit window's now open. Pit window is open. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. Okay, Russell's behind you now. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old. Time last lap, 1:49.3. Okay, gap to the car in front, 2.0 seconds. Final lap, push, push. As things stand, we're going to be 13th in the championship. Currently sat in 6th. Okay, Piastri just ahead. Push hard, push hard. Okay, gap ahead, 4.3 seconds. They're on old mediums. Russell behind. They're on old mediums. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And extending his already record-breaking winning record, it's Lewis Hamilton to the line for victory.
A great display of dominance today, Crofty, by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
It's been a hard afternoon of brilliant racing, but now it's time for some proper celebrations. The podium awaits. It's a familiar sight in Formula One, And here it is once again, Lewis Hamilton with the trophy held high, celebrating a masterful victory. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Great news, boss. The sponsor we were after are pleased with our proposals and are happy to sign.
Hey, boss, have you got a moment to look at something?
Hey, Chief. We've got multiple parts out of research. Don't forget to develop them. We've got performance sitting on the table that we could be getting into the car.